Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn class 10th subject English Kumar Bharati poem 1.4 All the World Stage English workshop. First activity, read the words in given clouds, match them with what they signify. In first cloud, the words are stage, characters, script, dialogues, entry, exit. In second cloud, the words are birth, situations, incidents, story of life, death, conversation, roles played by human beings, life. Now we'll match them. Stage, life, characters, roles played by human beings, script, story of life, dialogues, conversation, entry, birth, exit, death. Second activity, read the poem carefully and complete the following table. In first column there is ages of man, in second column role, and in third column qualities or actions. Ages of man first, role infant, qualities or actions frightened, crying. Second, ages of man schoolboy, qualities or actions unhappy, whining, creeping unwillingly to school. Third, ages of man role lover, qualities or actions awful, sighing, singing sad ballads. Fifth, ages of man role adult man, qualities or actions fat, serious and wise. Second, giving advice. Sixth, ages of man role middle aged man, qualities or actions thin and shrunken. Second, talking in a shrill voice. Seventh, ages of man very old man, qualities or actions servile, childlike. Second, oblivious to his surrounding. Third activity, write down in your own words the difference between the following stages of a man's life. Second stage and fourth stage. The second stage is that of a schoolboy complaining and crying. He goes to school early in the morning with well scrubbed, shining face. He carries his school bag and creeps slowly like a snail unwillingly to school. The fourth stage is of a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel. Third and fifth stage. The third stage is that of a lover who is breathless and sighing with passion. He sings sad songs dedicated to the beauty of his lover. The fifth stage is that of mature middle-aged man with a round belly. He is stern and formal and full of wisdom. He is full of wise sayings and gives modern examples. First stage and seventh, that is the last stage. The first stage is that of an infant crying weakly and throwing up in his nurse's arms. He is unaware of what is happening around him. The baby at this stage is without teeth, without vision, without taste, and without anything. The last stage of all, which ends one's eventful life, is when man becomes senile and enters his second childhood. He is again unaware of what is happening around him. This final stage is when he is once more without teeth, without vision, without taste, and without anything. Fourth activity, pick out lines that contain imagery. In bracket, a picture created in the mind by using words of the following people. A. Schoolboy, second stage. The whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like a snail, unwilling to school. B. Soldier, fourth stage, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel. C. Judge, fifth stage, in fair round belly with good cap on, lined with eyes, severe and beard of formal cut. D. Senior citizen, sixth stage, his youthful house, well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank. Fifth activity, you will notice that there is no rhyme scheme in the poem. It appears similar to the poem 1.1, where the mind is without fear by Tagore. However, Tagore's poem has no steady rhythm or meter either. It is called free verse. Shakespeare uses line with a steady rhythm of 5 beats in each. It is termed as blank verse. In bracket, no rhyme scheme but uniformity in rhythm. Copy the lines from and all the men and women merely players to sudden and quick in quarrel. Put a stress mark on each of the syllables. Stress in the line, as for example, and all the men and women merely players. And all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. And one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and pucking in the nurse's arms. Then the whining schoolboy, with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like furnace with a awful ballad, made to his mistress' eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel. Sixth activity, think and write on your own. A. What is the theme or central idea of this poem? Answer. The theme or central idea of the poem is the cycle of life. The poet addresses the world a stage where everyone has been assigned to play a special role. The birth is entrance and the death is exit for everyone. The poet has divided the life into 7 stages. Each has its own varied qualities and features. It tells how one starts out as an infant when it is helpless, without understanding and ends up the same way, without being aware of what is happening with him or her. It is an extremely knowledgeable poem about life and its stages. B. Which two stages of man described by Shakespeare sound humorous? Say why? According to me, the second stage of man seems to be funny because in this stage he is a schoolboy and he doesn't want to go to school, so walks like a snail. The other stage is sixth stage in which he becomes old and his youth has been lost. He becomes thin and his skin hangs around loose. His manly voice turns into treble voice and is made fun by the people. See, the last, that is seventh stage of life, sounds very sad and miserable. How can you make old age also cheerful and happy? Answer: we can make the last stage, that is old age, cheerful by maintaining good physical and mental health, and we should enjoy with our friends. Activity 7th A. The poem is entirely metaphorical. Pick out the comparisons from the poem. A. World. It is compared with stage. B. Actors. Players. C. Birth and death. Entrances and exit. D. Schoolboy. A snail. E. The lover's sigh. A furnace. F. Spotted leopard. Bearded soldier. G. Last stage, old age. Last scene. B. Pick out from the poem two examples of each. A. Simile. First example, creeping like a snail. Second example, soldier bearded like the pard. B. Onomatopoeia. First example, and then the whining schoolboy. Second example, sighing like a furnace. C. Alliteration. First example, they have their exits and their entrances. Second example, his youthful horse well saved, a world too wide. D. A metaphor. First example, all the world is a stage. Second example, they have their exits and their entrances. E. Inversion. First example, his acts being seven ages. Second example, with eyes sever and beard of formal cut. F. Transferred epithet. First example, with a awful ballad. Second example, into the lean and slippered pantaloon. Eighth activity, read the summary of the play As You Like It by William Shakespeare. Using the internet, find out which characters has narrated the above poem and on what occasion. Also make a list of all the characters of the play. Orlando reveals to Adam, a loyal servant of his late father, that he is unhappy with the lack of training and education his older brother Oliver is providing for him. Oliver enters the scene and he and Orlando begin to argue. Oliver agrees to give Orlando some of the money that was left for him and commands Orlando and Adam to leave. Charles enters and tells Oliver that he will be resting for the court and fears Orlando intends to wrestle against him. Oliver convinces Charles that he must kill Orlando because Orlando is villainous, and if he is disgraced, he will stop at nothing to kill Charles. Charles thanks Oliver for the warning and bids him farewell. Oliver then reflects on the undeserved hatred he feels towards Orlando despite his gentle and noble nature. Meanwhile, Celia tries to cheer up Rosalind, whose father has been banished by Duke Frederick. The two ladies began having a witty conversation with Touchstone. The court fool enters and begins to jest with the girls. Lebeau, a courtier of the Duke, enters and informs the girls of a wrestling match to be held. The Duke and several of his men enter, followed by Charles and Orlando. In disguise, Frederick remarks on the danger of the match and suggests that Celia and Rosalind try to dissuade the young competitor from wrestling. Orlando, unwilling to listen to their pleas, goes on to quickly defeat Charles. When Duke Frederick asks who he is, Orlando tells him. Frederick says he wishes she was the son of another man because he and Orlando's father had been enemies. Orlando and Rosalind are mutually infatuated with one another, but they are unable to speak their feelings. Lebeau warns Orlando that he will receive no praise from Frederick and urges him to flee before the Duke has an outburst. After their encounter, Rosalind is infatuated with Orlando. Duke Frederick enters and demands that Rosalind leave, threatening her with the death if she is found within 20 miles of the court. Rosalind asks what she has done, but Frederick does not have a good answer. He then admits that Rosalind is too good and with her gone, Celia will appear better. Celia tells her father that if Rosalind must leave, she is going with her. The Duke exits. The girls decide they will seek out Rosalind's father in the forest of Arden. Knowing the journey will be dangerous, they disguise themselves. Rosalind as a young man named Ganymede and Celia as a common shepherd named Alina. They convince Touchstone to accompany them and exit the court. In second act, in the forest, the vanished Duke Senior talks of the joys of living in the woods, preferring it to the painted pomp of the court. He then suggests that they hunt venison to eat, though he cannot help but be saddened by the fate of the deer that is slaughtered. One of the lords informs him that Jacks feel the same way, believing Duke Senior to be a worse usurper than the evil Duke Frederick. Duke Senior tells the man take him to the Jacks because he enjoys contending with him when he is in his sullen moods. In the court, Duke Frederick is enraged to discover Celia, Rosalind, and Touchstone have left. One of the lords tells the Duke that Celia's gentlewoman overheard the girls discussing Orlando and believes they may have gone to find him. The Duke commands his men to find Oliver and send him out to find Orlando. Meanwhile, Orlando returns home to find Adam, who greets him and tells him of Oliver's plans to burn his house down while Orlando sleeps in hopes of killing him. Adam suggests that they take the money he saved working under their father and leave. Orlando agrees to go with him. Rosalind, Celia, and Touchstone arrive safely at the forest of Adrian. Two young shepherds, Corin and Silvius, walk by discussing love. The trio ask the shepherd where they may find accommodations, and Corin responds that there is a modest cottage for sale. Rosalind and Celia decide to buy it. Meanwhile, also in the forest, Duke Senior's men sing while they prepare his food and drink. Exhausted from the journey, Adam tells Orlando he can go no further. Orlando promises to find him food and shelter and carries him off. He comes across Duke Sr. and his men. He draws his sword and demands food. After Orlando calms down, the Duke invites him to eat with them. Orlando goes off to fetch Adam, and upon realizing who is in his company, the Duke is happy to have them. The character who has narrated the above poem in the play As You Like It by William Shakespeare is Jax. He narrates it in Act 2nd, Scene 7. Some of the other characters in the play are Celia, Rosalind, Orlando, Oliver, Duke Sr., Duke Frederick, Touchstone, etc. Ninth activity, read the poem again and write an appreciation of the poem in a paragraph format. The poem All the World is a Stage by William Shakespeare, taken from Shakespeare's play As You Like It. It is a monologue, a loud speech to oneself by one of the characters in the play. The poem is written in a blank verse, that is, there is no rhyme scheme, but there is a steady rhythm of 5 beats, that is, iambic pentameters. Each line, there are many figures of speech like simile, alliteration, and repetition, but the one that stands out is metaphor. In the lines, all the world is a stage, and all men and women are merely players. There is an implied comparison between two different things. In this poem, Shakespeare compares life to a stage. He has divided life into 7 stages, each having its own varied qualities and features. The theme of the poem is the cycle of life. It tells us how one starts out as an infant, helpless, without understanding, and ends the same way without being aware of what is happening around one. Here we have completed the English workshop of the poem All the World is a Stage. In order to watch similar videos, subscribe our channel, share our videos to your friends and relatives. Thanks for watching this video till the end. Thank you. Thanks a lot.